Here's a psychological fact you're not prepared for. Most people don't marry for love. They marry out of fear. And the most disturbing part isn't even that. It's that their brain convinces them it was a good decision. Psychologists call this defensive partner selection, and once you understand it, you'll see why so many people live in long but emotionally empty relationships. Before we dive in, I need you to do something. If you've ever questioned whether you're really in love or just scared to be alone, pause for a second and drop a comment saying, "I needed this," because what I'm about to share might be the most important thing you hear all year. And if this video resonates with you, hit that like button, not just for the algorithm, but as a commitment to yourself that you're done living in denial. Let's get into it. Reason number 1, deep fear of loneliness. This isn't a surface level fear. This isn't, "I don't want to eat dinner alone," or "I wish I had someone to watch movies with." This is unconscious, primal panic about facing yourself, about being alone with your thoughts, about confronting who you really are without someone else there to distract you. For these people, solitude triggers catastrophic internal narratives. Their mind spirals into thoughts like, "Something is fundamentally wrong with me. If no one chooses me, it means I'm worthless. I'm falling behind in life while everyone else is moving forward. I'm going to end up old and alone, and no one will care when I'm gone." These aren't rational thoughts. They're emotional earthquakes. And when your brain is in that kind of terror, it does something dangerous. It makes a deal, a terrible deal. Better a loveless relationship than confronting the void. Better someone who makes you feel empty than facing emptiness alone. So they don't choose their partner because of connection. They don't choose them because they make them laugh, or because conversations flow naturally, or because they feel seen and understood. They choose them because that person's mere presence calms their existential anxiety. That person's existence in their life answers the question their brain keeps screaming, "Am I lovable? Am I enough? Will I be okay?" And over time, something insidious happens. They confuse that calm with love. They mistake the absence of panic for the presence of joy. Even though inside they feel increasingly dimmed, increasingly hollow, like a light that's slowly fading. Here's what scares me most about this pattern, and listen closely because this is critical. If you identified with what I just said, you need to understand something. Many people don't stay because of love. They stay because they believe they don't deserve anything better. They've convinced themselves that wanting more is selfish, unrealistic, immature. They've told themselves this is just what adult relationships look like. But let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt genuine excitement to see your partner? Not obligation, not routine, not "they're fine," but genuine, spontaneous, "can't wait to tell them about my day" excitement? If you can't remember, that should tell you something. Pause the video right now and ask yourself, am I staying because I love this person, or because I'm terrified of what being alone says about me? If that question hits you hard, if it made your stomach drop, hit that like button right now. Because recognizing the question is the first step to finding the real answer. Reason number 2, silent low self-esteem. This point is absolutely crucial, and almost no one admits it. Not even to themselves. These people don't consciously think, "I want very little from life." That would be too honest, too painful. Instead, they think, "This is the maximum I can realistically aspire to. This is as good as it gets for someone like me." They believe, deep in their bones, that they don't deserve certain things. They don't deserve passion that makes their heart race. They don't deserve intensity that makes them feel alive. They don't deserve to be truly chosen, truly desired, truly seen. They've decided, somewhere along the way, that those things are for other people. For the beautiful people, the confident people, the worthy people. Not for them. So when someone good enough appears, someone who won't hurt them, or leave them, or make them feel inadequate, they don't ask themselves the right question. They don't ask, do I love this person? Does this person light up my world? Instead, they ask, do I have the right to demand something more? Do I have the right to hold out for butterflies and chemistry and soul-deep connection? And because their internal answer is usually no, because they've internalized the belief that they're not worth that kind of love, they accept a relationship that's emotionally half-lived, a relationship that exists but doesn't thrive, that continues but doesn't flourish. And here's the really tragic part. They call this maturity. They convince themselves that giving up on desire, on passion, on feeling truly alive with another person, they convince themselves that this is what it means to grow up, to be realistic, to be sensible. Let me be brutally honest with you right now. Settling isn't maturity. It's self-abandonment dressed up in practical clothing. It's learning to betray your own heart so consistently that you forget it's even a betrayal. It becomes normal. It becomes Tuesday. Think about that for a second. Really think about it. You have one life, one shot at this existence, and you're spending it teaching yourself that you don't deserve to feel fully alive in your most intimate relationship. You're training yourself to expect less, want less, feel less. Is that really maturity? Or is it just slow-motion resignation? If you've ever convinced yourself that mature love means feeling nothing, if you've ever called emotional numbness stability, leave a comment with the word settling below. Let's create a space where people can admit this truth, because I guarantee you're not the only one who needs to hear. They're not alone in this. Reason number 3, social and family pressure. This is where love stops being a personal decision and becomes a public performance. This is where your relationship becomes everyone else's business, everyone else's timeline, everyone else's definition of success. Family members start making comments. Friends start asking questions. Society has an opinion about what you should be doing and when you should be doing it. And all these voices, all these expectations, they create a crescendo of pressure that becomes almost impossible to resist. They say things like, "It's time already. You're not getting any younger. The clock is ticking. You need to settle down. Your brother's already married. Your sister has 2 kids. What are you waiting for? You're too picky. You have unrealistic expectations. The perfect person doesn't exist. You need to be more practical. Se te va a pasar el tren. The train is leaving the station, and you're going to be left behind." And then comes the most insidious message of all. Not everything is about love. This is real life. In the real world, you make compromises. You focus on compatibility, on stability, on whether they'll be a good provider or a good parent. Chemistry fades. Butterflies die. What matters is whether you can build a life together. And little by little, exposed to these messages, day after day, month after month, year after year, the person starts to internalize them. They stop listening to themselves. They stop asking what they actually want. They stop paying attention to how they actually feel. They become someone else's project, someone else's idea of who they should be. They don't marry because they want to. They marry to avoid disappointing their parents, to avoid awkward questions at family gatherings, to avoid being seen as the odd one out, the one who couldn't make it work, the one who ended up alone. But here's the problem that no one talks about. The elephant in the room that everyone pretends not to see. No one else lives inside that marriage. Not your mother, not your best friend, not your coworkers who ask about your relationship status. Only you. Only you wake up next to that person every single day. Only you live with the constant feeling of playing a role you never auditioned for, of reading lines from a script you didn't write. And here's the part that almost no one has the courage to admit out loud. Some people, and maybe this is you, some people know they don't love their partner. They know it. It's not confusion. It's not uncertainty. They know with absolute clarity that they don't feel what they're supposed to feel. And they marry them anyway. They walk down that aisle anyway. They say those vows anyway. Because the thought of facing everyone's disappointment, everyone's judgment, everyone's "I told you so," feels worse than spending their entire life in emotional mediocrity. Read that again. Let it sink in. If you know someone living this exact situation right now, someone who's engaged or about to get married, and you can see they're not truly in love, share this video with them. They might not have the courage to search for this information themselves, but they need to hear this message. You might be the only person in their life willing to tell them the truth. Reason number 4. Previous emotional trauma. After you've been through an intense, painful, or traumatic relationship, something changes in your brain. Your emotional wiring gets rewired. And unfortunately, it often gets rewired in the wrong direction. After being hurt deeply, after experiencing betrayal or heartbreak, or the kind of pain that makes you question everything you thought you knew about love, your brain learns a lesson, but it's the wrong lesson. The lesson it learns is this: love hurts. Opening your heart is dangerous. Vulnerability is a threat. Feeling intensely is a liability. So your brain, doing what it thinks is best for you, doing what it's designed to do, it shifts into protection mode. It builds walls. It creates defenses. It changes your entire approach to relationships. Instead of seeking love, you start seeking emotional control. Instead of wanting passion, you want predictability. Instead of craving connection, you prioritize safety above everything else. You want someone who won't surprise you, won't challenge you, won't make you feel too much of anything, because feeling too much is what led to pain before. So you choose someone safe, someone who doesn't awaken anything intense in you. No racing heartbeat when they walk in the room. No electricity when they touch you. No feeling of, "I can't believe this person exists and chose me." Just calm, neutral, safe. And you tell yourself this is wisdom. This is learning from your past. This is being smart about relationships instead of naive. You've evolved beyond those messy, intense, passionate relationships that ended in pain. Now you're making a mature, rational decision based on compatibility and shared values and practical considerations. But here's what you don't understand: what trauma has made you forget. Closing your heart doesn't eliminate pain. It eliminates your emotional life. It eliminates joy along with suffering. It eliminates ecstasy along with heartbreak. It eliminates the feeling of being truly, fully, wildly alive. You're not protecting yourself. You're suffocating yourself. You're choosing slow death over the possibility of pain. You're picking emotional numbness and calling it safety. You're selecting a relationship that will never hurt you because it will never make you feel anything at all. And the most dangerous part, It's not marrying without love. The most dangerous part is convincing yourself that this emotional shutdown, this systematic numbing of your capacity to feel, that this is maturity, that this is wisdom, that this is what smart people do. That numbness you call peace, that's not peace. That's emotional anesthesia. And anesthesia isn't meant to be a permanent state. It's meant to get you through surgery, not through life. If you've ever confused not feeling hurt with being happy, if you've ever mistaken not being devastated for being fulfilled, this is your wake-up call. Comment, wake-up call, below. If this resonated with you, let's build a community of people who are willing to feel again, even if it means risking pain. Because a life without the possibility of pain is also a life without the possibility of joy. Reason number 5, rationalized love, the most dangerous pattern of all. This is the most insidious pattern because it sounds so reasonable, so logical, so mature and responsible, and adult. This is the one that tricks intelligent people, thoughtful people, people who pride themselves on making rational decisions. These people, and maybe you're one of them, they tell themselves a very convincing story. They say, I don't feel butterflies when I see them, but they're a good person. They treat me well, they're reliable, they're stable. And isn't that what really matters? They say, intense love doesn't last anyway. Chemistry fades. Everyone knows that. What matters is whether we're compatible, whether we want the same things, whether we can build a stable life together. They say, I'm not looking for fairy tales anymore. I'm not a teenager. I don't need fireworks and passion and all that Hollywood nonsense. I need someone who shows up, who's responsible, who won't let me down. And they turn the relationship into a checklist, into a list of advantages that looks really good on paper. Stability, check. Routine that works, check. Companionship, so I'm not alone, check. Convenience, check. Financial security, check. Someone to share responsibilities with, check. Acceptable level of affection, check. No. Major red flags, check. Their mind thinks, this is emotional intelligence. This is what it means to be realistic about relationships. This is choosing wisely, instead of being ruled by irrational emotions. But the reality is completely different. What they've actually done is negotiate away their own desire in exchange for feeling safe. They've traded passion for predictability. They've exchanged the possibility of profound connection for the guarantee of avoiding profound pain. They're not in a relationship. They're in an emotional business arrangement, a contract where both parties have agreed to provide certain services, meet certain needs, fulfill certain roles. And nowhere in that contract, nowhere in those terms and conditions, is there any mention of love. That got left out. That was the clause they decided they could live without. And here's what kills me about this pattern. Here's what keeps me up at night. This doesn't just affect your marriage. This affects everything. It affects your self-esteem because you're teaching yourself that you don't deserve to feel alive in your most intimate relationship. It affects your emotional stability because you're constantly managing the gap between what you actually feel and what you think you should feel. It affects your authenticity because you're playing a role, maintaining an image, keeping up appearances. And perhaps most tragically, it affects the way you betray yourself without even realizing it. Every day you stay in a relationship that doesn't make you feel genuinely loved, you're sending yourself a message. The message is, my desires don't matter. My feelings aren't important. What I want is unrealistic. I should be grateful for what I have and stop wanting more. You're training yourself day by day to expect less from life, to settle for emotional crumbs when you deserve a feast. If this section made you uncomfortable, if you felt your stomach tighten or your chest get heavy, good. That discomfort means you're seeing something most people prefer to deny. That discomfort is your authentic self trying to get your attention. Smash that like button if you're tired of people pretending that settling is the same as being realistic. If you're tired of being told that wanting to feel genuinely in love is somehow immature or unrealistic or asking for too much. The brutal truth you've been avoiding now. We need to talk about the truth that keeps you up at night when you're honest with yourself. The truth you push away during the day, but that creeps back in at 3 a.m. when you can't sleep. Here it is. Marrying someone you don't love doesn't destroy you instantly. It's not a sudden catastrophe. It's not like a car crash where everything ends in one moment. It's worse than that. It dims you slowly, gradually, almost imperceptibly, day by day, year by year, so slowly that you don't even notice it's happening, until one day you look in the mirror and you don't recognize the person staring back at you. You start as someone full of hope, desire, dreams, possibilities, someone who believed in magic and connection and soul-deep love, someone who wanted to feel alive. And you end as someone who has learned to expect less, feel less, want less. Someone who has systematically trained themselves to be satisfied with okay, with fine, with good enough. Someone who has forgotten what it feels like to be genuinely excited about life. Who has forgotten what passion feels like, what desire feels like, what it means to feel truly seen and chosen and cherished by another human being. You call it growing up, or being realistic, or maturing. But it's not growth. It's shrinkage. It's the slow collapse of your emotional world. It's learning to live in a smaller and smaller space until you've forgotten you ever wanted more. And the worst part? You don't even know it's happening. Because it happens so gradually. Because everyone around you is doing the same thing and calling it normal. Because society tells you this is just what adult life looks like. But here's what I need you to understand. This isn't normal. This isn't what life has to be. This is what happens when you make fear-based decisions and then spend years justifying them. If you felt that in your chest just now, that tightness, that ache, that recognition, comment "I felt that" below. You're not imagining it. That's your authentic self trying to get your attention. That's the part of you that knows you deserve more. How to break this pattern. The solution. No one talks about. If you want to break free from this pattern, if you're ready to stop living in fear and start living in truth, you need to start with one fundamental principle. Write this down. Put it on your mirror. Make it your phone wallpaper. Never make permanent decisions to calm temporary emotions. Read that again. Never make permanent decisions to calm temporary emotions. That fear you feel about being alone. Temporary emotion. That anxiety about disappointing your family. Temporary emotion. That panic about running out of time. Temporary emotion. Marriage, permanent decision. You cannot build a life on the foundation of avoiding discomfort. You cannot create genuine happiness by running away from fear. You cannot find authentic love by settling for whoever makes your anxiety shut up for a minute. Now, I'm going to give you 5 questions. These questions are uncomfortable. They're designed to be. They're designed to cut through all your justifications and rationalizations and get to the truth. Don't rush past them. Sit with them. Really sit with them. Question 1. Am I staying because I love them, or because I fear what leaving says about me? Be honest, brutally honest. Are you with this person because you can't imagine your life without them? Or because you can't handle what it means if you're single at your age? If your family asks why it didn't work out, if you have to admit you were wrong? Question 2. Is this peace or is this emotional anesthesia? There's a massive difference between genuine peace and just being numb. Peace is active, alive, present. Anesthesia is absence. Emotional flatline, nothing feeling. Is your relationship calm because it's healthy, or calm because you've both given up on feeling anything intense? Question 3. Am I choosing from desire or from fear? When you think about this relationship, what motivates your choice to stay? Is it, I want this person in my life? Or is it, I'm afraid of the alternative? Because those are completely different foundations. One builds a life, the other builds a prison. Question 4. If I had no fear of judgment, no concern about what anyone else thought, would I still choose this person? Imagine for a moment that you live in a world where no one else has an opinion about your choices. Your family doesn't care. Your friends don't ask. Society has no expectations. No one will judge you, no matter what you decide. In that world, completely free from external pressure, do you choose this person? Really? Question 5. What story am I telling myself to justify staying in emotional mediocrity? We're all very good at creating narratives that make our choices seem reasonable. This is just what mature relationships look like. I'm being realistic. Not everyone gets passion. At least they don't hurt me. I'm grateful for what I have. What's your story? And more importantly, is it true? Or is it just comfortable? Write your answers down. Don't just think about them. Write them, because there's something about seeing your truth in your own handwriting that makes it impossible to deny. What to do right now? If this video made you think about something you've been avoiding, if it brought up feelings you've been pushing down, if it made you question decisions you thought were settled, here's what I need you to do. First, hit that like button. Not just for the algorithm, although that helps. Hit it as a commitment to yourself. A commitment that you're done living in denial, that you're ready to face the truth even when it's uncomfortable. Second, subscribe to Mental Pulse, because we're building a community here. A community of people who choose truth over comfort, who choose authenticity over appearances, who refuse to settle for emotional mediocrity just because it's easier than doing the hard work of finding genuine love. Third, watch the next video that appears on screen, because in that video, I go even deeper into something almost no one dares to say out loud. Something about the long-term consequences of marrying without love that will fundamentally change how you see relationships. It's going to open your eyes even wider than this video did. Fourth, and this is important, drop a comment. Tell me which of these 5 reasons hit you hardest. Just say reason 1 or reason 5 or whatever number resonated most deeply. Or tell me your story, or ask a question. Or just say what you're feeling right now. Because we're building something here, and your voice matters. The uncomfortable questions you need to answer. Before we finish, I'm going to leave you with some questions. These aren't rhetorical. These aren't just philosophical exercises. These are questions that might change your life if you answer them honestly. When was the last time you felt genuine excitement to see your partner? Not obligation, not habit, not they're fine or I'm used to them, but genuine, spontaneous, heart-racing excitement? Can you remember? If you can't, that should tell you something profound. If you could design your ideal relationship with zero consequences, completely free from fear or judgment or practical concerns, would it look like your current one? Would you choose this person, this dynamic, this level of connection? Or would you design something completely different? Are you teaching yourself that you don't deserve to be loved the way you actually want to be loved? Because every day you stay in a relationship that doesn't fulfill you, that's the lesson you're learning. That's the belief you're reinforcing, that your desires don't matter, that you should be grateful for scraps. What story are you telling yourself to justify staying in emotional mediocrity? And is that story actually true? Or is it just the most comfortable narrative you could construct to avoid facing a harder truth? If your best friend came to you and described your exact relationship, your exact situation, what advice would you give them? Would you tell them to stay? Would you tell them this is good enough? Would you tell them to settle for this? Really? Or would you tell them they deserve more? Think about that last one, because we're often much clearer about what other people deserve than what we deserve ourselves. We give better advice to our friends than we take for ourselves. So imagine you're talking to your best friend. What would you tell them? Your comment challenge. I want you to do something brave right now. Something that might feel vulnerable or scary or too honest. But I want you to do it anyway. In the comments below, complete this sentence. The truth I've been avoiding is, you don't have to share details. You don't have to write a novel. You don't have to explain yourself to anyone. Just complete that one sentence. Write whatever truth you've been pushing down, whatever reality you've been denying, whatever fear you've been avoiding. It might be, the truth I've been avoiding is that I don't love my partner. Or, the truth I've been avoiding is that I'm only staying because I'm terrified of being alone. Or, the truth I've been avoiding is that I married for the wrong reasons, and I don't know what to do about it. Whatever your truth is, write it. Put it out there. Because there's power in naming what you've been avoiding. There's freedom in speaking what you've been silent about. And if you see someone else's comment that resonates with you, reply with, "You're not alone." Let's create a community of people who support each other in choosing authenticity over fear, who lift each other up instead of judging, who remind each other that wanting genuine love isn't selfish or unrealistic or too much to ask. The final truth. Before you click away from this video, before you scroll to the next thing, I need you to understand something. This is crucial. This might be the most important thing I say in this entire video. The relationship you're in right now is teaching you what you believe you deserve. Read that again. The relationship you're in right now is teaching you what you believe you deserve. If it's emotionally empty, you're teaching yourself you don't deserve emotional fullness. If it's based on fear of being alone, you're teaching yourself that your value comes from not being alone, not from being genuinely loved. If it's about avoiding disappointment rather than pursuing joy, you're teaching yourself that the best you can hope for in life is to minimize suffering, not to maximize happiness. Every single day you stay in a relationship that doesn't make you feel genuinely alive, you're reinforcing a belief about yourself. The belief that this is the best you can do, that you should be grateful for this, that wanting more is selfish or unrealistic or immature. Is that the lesson you want to keep learning? Is that the belief you want to reinforce every single day for the next 10 years, 20 years, 50 years? Because here's the thing about time that no one likes to talk about. You can't get it back. Not a single second of it. Every day you spend in emotional mediocrity is a day you'll never get to live differently. Every year you spend convincing yourself this is good enough is a year you can't reclaim. And I know what some of you are thinking right now. You're thinking, but it's not that simple. I have kids, I have shared finances, I have a house together. We have history. I can't just leave. And you're right, it's not simple. I'm not telling you to leave your relationship. That's your decision. And only you know your full situation. Only you know all the variables and complications and considerations. But I am telling you this. Stop lying to yourself about why you're staying. Stop pretending you're staying for noble reasons when you're actually staying because you're afraid. Stop calling fear-based decisions wisdom. Stop confusing emotional numbness with maturity. Face the truth. Feel the discomfort. Sit with the reality of your situation without all the justifications and rationalizations and stories you tell yourself to make it okay. And then, and only then, make a conscious choice. A choice from a place of honesty instead of fear. A choice based on who you actually are and what you actually want. Not on who you think you should be or what everyone expects from you. That's the only way to break this pattern. That's the only way to stop the slow dimming of your light. That's the only way to reclaim your authentic self. Before you go, if this video challenged you, frustrated you, or woke something up inside you, that's exactly what it was supposed to do. The truth isn't always comfortable. In fact, it's usually not comfortable. But it's always, always liberating. Here's what I need you to do right now. Like this video if you're ready to stop settling. If you're ready to face hard truths instead of hiding in comfortable lies. Subscribe to Mental Pulse if you want more uncomfortable truths. If you want content that challenges you instead of just entertaining you. Comment with what hit you hardest. Share your story. Ask your questions. Tell me where you are in this journey. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, even if it's uncomfortable, even if they might not thank you for it. Sometimes the most loving thing we can do is tell people the truth they're avoiding. Remember this: the relationship you tolerate is the one you'll get. If you accept emotional mediocrity, that's what your life will be. If you demand genuine love, genuine connection, genuine passion, you might not find it immediately, but you'll never find it if you don't believe you deserve it. Choose wisely. Choose honestly. Choose from a place of self-love instead of self-betrayal. See you in the next video, where we dive even deeper. One more thing. If you made it this far, you're serious about understanding yourself and your relationships. That's rare. Most people would have clicked away the moment they felt uncomfortable. Most people would have dismissed this as too harsh or too judgmental or too extreme. But you stayed. You listened. You engaged. That tells me something about you. It tells me you're ready for change. You're ready to stop living in denial and start living in truth. So here's my question for you, and I really want you to answer this in the comments. What's one thing you're going to do differently after watching this video? It doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't have to be, I'm leaving my partner tomorrow. It just has to be honest. It has to be one concrete step toward truth instead of away from it. Maybe it's, I'm going to stop calling my numbness peace. Maybe it's, I'm going to have an honest conversation with myself about why I'm really in this relationship. Maybe it's, I'm going to stop making excuses and start facing reality. Whatever it is, write it down. Make it real. Make it concrete. Because awareness without action is just entertainment. And you didn't watch a 15-minute video to be entertained. You watched it because some part of you knows you need to change. I read every single comment, and I'll reply to as many as I can, because this isn't just a channel, it's a community of people who refuse to settle for emotional crumbs when they deserve the whole feast. You deserve a relationship that makes you feel alive, not just not alone. You deserve a partnership that brings out your best self, not just provides basic companionship. You deserve love that feels like coming home to yourself, not like running away from yourself. Never forget that. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. It's going to challenge you even more than this one. Join the conversation in the comments below. Like equals you're choosing awareness over avoidance. Subscribe equals you're committed to living authentically. Let's build a community of people who refuse to settle for emotional mediocrity just because it's easier than doing the hard work of finding genuine love. See you in the comments. See you in the next video. Stay aware. Stay honest. Stay brave. This is Mental Pulse, reminding you that the life you're living is the result of the choices you're making. If you don't like the life, change the choices. Talk soon.